Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webcast. My name is Sandra Smith, and I'm the Sage Intelligence Product Specialist. And today we are going to be talking about Sage Intelligence and Excel skills for more impactful reports. Now, this is the third part of a three-part series. But we have part one and part two we've already done. However, recordings for those are already up on our site, and you can go check those out. I'll be showing you some resources at the end on where you can go to check those out. But today is part three, so let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I want to make sure that everyone on the call understands that the webcast today is being recorded. We are going to provide a link of the recording to you via email. You'll receive that in the next day or so. So everyone's muted, just so we don't have a lot of background noise. However, you can always enter your questions into the Q&A control panel. There's also a chat pane. Feel free to enter your questions there. I'll be addressing the questions at the end of the session today, the webcast today. But if you would like, feel free to email me at sandra.smith@sage.com. I'll be happy to answer your questions directly via email as well. Now, the agenda is very simple. I'm going to talk to you about the tips I'm going to demonstrate. So there's a little bit of overview on the tips. I'm going to do the demonstration, and then, like I said, at the end, I'm going to talk to you and show you where some very helpful learning resources are to learn more about Microsoft Excel as well as Sage Intelligence. So today is part three, and we're going to talk about financials. We're going to talk about how you can enhance your financials. So there's a few how-tos we're going to go through today. And the first one is how to easily sort, subtotal, and group your accounts. So I know a lot of you on the call have, you may not have sequential account numbers and kind of want to understand how to pull them together much more easily. There's a couple different demos or demonstrations I'm going to do, or examples I'm going to do to show you how to sort subtotal using Microsoft Excel as well as Sage Intelligence. Okay, I'm also going to show you, this is kind of a fun one, how to add drop-down lists and scroll bars as filters. So the idea here is to, really enhance your financial reports so that your user, the people that's receiving these reports and looking through the information, can look through it much easier. Okay, let's make it for the user so that they can get to the information they need quickly. Now, I'm also going to show how you can report on more than just your financials using the financial report designer. So let me use an example, say maybe adding a sales report to your financials, because sometimes, you have people that, maybe groups that want to see a holistic view of your business. So financials, operationals, etc. So we're going to walk through how to do that. And then how to change the chart series to show trending. That's a fun one as well. Now, you guys can visit our website and have access to all of these tips and tricks very easily. Go to sageintelligence.com /tips-and-tricks, or you can go to our resources section you see there, and you can click right into it, and you can receive these tips in your email weekly. So we have some for Microsoft Excel, but we also have some for Sage Intelligence. So you'll receive them weekly. It's a lot of fun. We give you an example of Excel to download and work right in there with it. So, and follow the instructions. So you can hang on to those tips, keep them in a library if you want, or use us as the library. So check that out. Now, those of you on the line that are using a Sage solution, just want to make sure you guys know about the report utility. I've talked about it in the other sessions as well, but it's very important for you to know that we have the ability to download report templates, free report templates to your Sage Intelligence system. You can download them directly to Report Manager. You can see it's available on all Sage solutions, all Sage solutions globally as well. Okay, so basically go out to sageintelligence.com /report-utility. You see the link there on the screen. And you can download the executable, which will appear as an icon, as you can see here on the screen as well. You can also go to the site and click into your specific Sage solution, and once you do that, you will be able to preview the report. So you can choose a report, a sales report, a financial report, an inventory report, a project report. Any report that's is part of your system, you can preview that report. And then once you download this executable, it'll open up this list, and it mirrors the reports that are available on the website, and you can choose which report you want to download to your report manager and run out. Now, I also want to show you some examples. So this just shows you some free reports we've built that you can download and use with your Sage solution, like dashboards, a cash flow report, ratio reports, trial balance, sales reports. And then you can see an example of the Power View report there on the far left. And we walked through that last week. So those of you who weren't part of last week's presentation, you can check out on our website how to go visit and watch that video from last week to learn how you can create a report using Power View. But we have some already built in a lot of cases. So but you can learn how you can make changes to the ones we've built. You can make changes to any of the templates that we have available on Sage Intelligence. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the demonstration. Okay, so I've opened up what I've done here. Sorry, let me go back to it here. There we go. Okay, so what I've done is I've run out a copy of Financial Report Designer. Now, I kept the name as Copy of Financial Designer just so that you guys understand what this report is. Those of you on the line that are familiar with Sage Intelligence know that you need to make a copy of the Financial Report Designer so that you can make changes and save them back to Report Manager. When you save it back to Report Manager, all your changes are saved. But those of you on the line that are looking for it from just an Excel standpoint, all of this pertains to Microsoft Excel. Some of it is Sage Intelligence specific, but know that everything that we're going to be talking about today we can work with in Microsoft Excel. This is Microsoft Excel. On the right-hand side, you'll see our task pane, which is a Sage Intelligence add-in. It's an Excel add-in that Sage Intelligence has built, where we have layouts that are pre-built. You can go ahead and generate, or you can create your reports using our lists, formulas, etc. And that's what I've done. I've dragged this list, this account list over, and it's sitting here in Excel ready to be worked. So that's what I've done. I've dragged my list over. Let me move our task pane over a bit here. I dragged my list over, and you can see that here's the formula that I used. If I click into it, you can see the year, the period that I've used to build that formula. And then if I click into the year, you can see that I've brought this formula over for the year and period. Now, I could have just simply typed in 2020 and 7 as the current year and period. But what I want to do is when I save this report and run it out again, I want it to always show me the current period. So that's why Sage Intelligence has built a current formula that you can drag over and use, so that every time the reports run out, it is going to be looking at the current year and current period for your values. Now, I'm just going to come in here to this period, just type in a 2 to show you that it's dynamic, where now you see some values, because in my current period I don't have any values. So, but in a previous period I do. So I'm just demonstrating that part. But let's get to the sorting, how to easily sort accounts. And even subtotals as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to highlight all of the headings here. Now you can see my headings. This first one's account number, the second one account description, structure code, etc. These are headings that come with the list that we have, and all of these headings associate with your Sage solution. Maybe you just have a separate Excel spreadsheet and you have your own headings, but these are just ones that associate with the particular Sage solution that I'm using. Okay, so I'm going to highlight that, and what I want to do is I want to capture all of the accounts, because I have all of my accounts here, and I can, you know, copy or drag my mouse down all the way to the end, but a lot of you on the line are thinking, gosh, I have a lot of accounts, so how do I do that quickly? If you hit Shift, Control, and the down arrow key, it highlights everything. So just a very easy tip. Shift, Control, down arrow highlights everything for you. And what we want to do is we want to start with sort. So I'm going to come up here to the Data tab, and I'm going to click on the Sort button. All right, and here's the menu. Here's the window that allows you to sort, and it starts with one column sort, and it says, okay, sort by what? We have these headings, so if I click on the drop down, it gives me a list of all my headings. So what I want to do is I want to sort on my account group name, because my account group name, if I can just move it out of the way here, well, let me pull it down here. My account group name here has all of the names of each of my particular account groups, and that's what I want to first of all sort by. So I'm going to get the drop down. I'm going to go to account group name. Okay, and then I can, you know, change the order, change the value. You know, maybe if I'm using an account number or something, I can change the value. But that's the first one. Then what I want to do, I want to add another level. I want to add a level, so I just select the Add Level button. And in the drop down this time, I want to sort by account number. Now you can see the many different ways you can do this. I'm just going to do it the very easiest just to demonstrate how you can sort. If I select OK, it comes up with another message that says, you know, how do you want to sort this? I want to sort anything that looks like a number as a number, because I want to sort these numbers, just the numbers. I'm going to select OK. And that's what it does. So notice I have everything sorted. A to Z, all of my account group names. So again, if you want to use this for any other purpose, just have your headings all right listed, highlight everything, and then you can sort it. But let's go a step further in subtotal. This is what I absolutely love to do. If I come into the Data tab again, and I come over here to my subtotal, I click on that. It opens up a window, and there's a few things that you can do here. And you can do as many subtotals as you want. The first one I'm going to do is, right now it has it at each change in company. I just have one company. I could do it if I have two, but I'm going to change that. And I'm going to get the drop down, and I'm going to say at each change in account group name, because that's what I'm focusing on, right? My account groups. Okay, and now the function, I'm going to keep it as sum. You can change it, of course, but I'm going to keep it as a summary. And then it automatically chooses actual, because that's really the only value that I have, and that's what I want as subtotals, my actual. So I'm going to keep this check marked. But I will say, if you add another one, so if you go through this exercise with this window, select OK, and then want to add another subtotal, I recommend that you uncheck this so that you don't replace the first subtotals that you work with. Okay, so now I'm going to select the OK button, and there's my subtotals just like that. So now you can see I have account payable subtotals, my accounts receivable subtotals, all the way down. All right, and then you can see on the left-hand side, my grouping is all fixed up and ready to go. And if I click on the minus sign, it collapses, all right? Or if I click on the plus sign, it expands, very easy. All right, so we have, let me go ahead and expand these. So this is the third level. You can see we're in 3. I can click on 2. Now we're in the second level, which is probably what a lot of you know, what you might want to view from a second level. First level is a little different. That gives you a grand total. In some cases, you can work with the first level when you're balancing. You know, you're balancing your accounts. We have information on how to do that. It's very easy. But now you can just click on your specific groups, 1, 2, and 3. Now, Sage Intelligence, a lot of our reports already have this grouping for you, so you don't have to do it, but this is in case you have some different types of reports that you want to subtotal and group. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to click on this next tab. Okay, zoom out a little bit more. So I'm going to use a little bit more of this this sheet. Okay, so here what I want to demonstrate is grouping using Sage Intelligence as well as Microsoft Excel. So in this case, again, I'll just type in a 2, to show you we do have some values here. So let's say I want to create a report. I want to see my revenue, expenses, my cost of goods sold. So I'm going to start out by removing all of my balance sheet accounts. Maybe I want to start up a income statement or P&L or something like that. So I'm going to just highlight my balance sheet accounts, right-click and delete. Okay, so again, I'd already dragged over my accounts. It's this account list I dragged over, and all I did was I removed some of the columns that I had in the other tab, okay, in the grouping and sorting tab. I just removed those, and I have my formula here. But now what I want to do is I want to group all of my account numbers. So with Sage Intelligence, it's really easy. So I'm going to show you, first of all, grouping your account numbers using Sage Intelligence, then grouping using Microsoft Excel. So if I on my keyboard, I'm going to hit Control Shift and the plus sign. That gives me a new row. And so here I want to add my new grouping. Okay, so let's say for sales or revenue, type in 4,000 space to 4,300. I know that 4,300 is the end of my revenue accounts. Okay, and then I just type in sales, or however you want to describe that, and then copy up the formula. And also with Sage Intelligence, you can multiply by -1 to remove that minus sign. So I can do that here as well. Okay, and I'm going to copy this one down just for my revenue accounts. I'm not going to do it for, okay. So I just did -1 just to change the sign on this so that everything's valid. So now I'm going to scroll down, because in order to group, what I want to do is I want to insert another row. Shift Control Plus, so that I can then highlight, and there's keyboard shortcuts. Gosh, we have that in a tip as well for you, but I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of my revenue accounts. And once I do that, I can go up to the Data tab. I can go to Group, and there it is. It's grouped just like that. I hit the minus sign, and now I have all my sales, but I have my detail nicely tucked away. Okay, so you can expand or collapse that. Oh, I didn't add my other revenue. I can include that too. So let me make sure I go back and get all of it. Okay, so I have my revenue. Oops, sorry. It's going a little fast here. All right, I'm just going to highlight my other revenue, get off my revenue. Go back to Data tab, go to Group, and there we go. See, it's very important to put that Shift Control Plus sign, put that additional row in between the ones that you want to group, or it's going to be included. So we're going to do this one more time. You're going to have this down when we're done. Okay, Data tab, Group, and there we are. All right, so we're going to collapse that one. And next, what we want to do is add our cost of sales, of course. Okay, so you probably have it down by now, but from a Sage Intelligence standpoint, I can type in 5,000, again, to space 25050. Copy up the value, the formula, and then go back down. Want to make sure we put that the space in so that it's easier to group. So I'm going to highlight all my cost of sales, and I can group. Okay, and then one more. I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to just add the rest of them, starting with my 5,400. I'm just going to go all the way to the end to 99.99. But I'll show you. You can subtract out, or you can add individual accounts, or even ranges. So you can add a whole range if you'd like. So a lot of inclusion and exclusion capability there. So it's really helpful to be able to organize all of your accounts. It might not quite be as straightforward using, the grouping and sorting that we did in the last exercise. So here again, I'm going to go to data, I'm going to go to group, and now remember, if I click out of this, now I can go to 1 and I can collapse everything. I can go to 2 and I can expand everything. So I'm going to go ahead and collapse it. So there you have it. And then from a enhancement standpoint, what I want to do is I want to make it easier for the users. So here, if I click on, say, I pulled in information from the years 2018, 19, and 20. If I add 2019, it changes my values here, you see. So let's make it easier. Let's not force, maybe you have, 5 years of data. You don't want, the user to have to remember to type in 2018, 19, and 20. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop down. Very easy. Just go in and add, 2018 over here on the side. We're going to hide this, 2019 and 2020. Now maybe you have this in another list somewhere else, okay? Maybe you're using some of this as a VLOOKUP, but here I'm just going to add it in on this one and we can hide it later. So in order to turn this into a drop down, very easy. You have your list over here. Click into the cell that you're changing, go to data and go to data validation. Drop down, select data validation. Here's the window that you would work with. Allow for a list, and then from a list standpoint, your source is right here. Click on the button to get the source. This is your source, or wherever your list of years are, wherever your list is. Okay, press enter and OK, and there's your drop down. So I can simply select whichever one I want. So it's very easy to make changes to that. Now you can do the same thing here with your periods. So if I do all my periods, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, I have all my periods written out. I did it over onto the right because these are grouping. So if you do it long ways, it's going to miss some of these when it's collapsed. Okay, so we want to just do it over the side. Do it on another sheet. It's easy to hide if you do it on this one. So go to data, data validation. Okay, and in this case, again, we want to do a list. My source is here. I'll just highlight everything. There we go. Now this time what I want to do is I want to input a message. I want to show them this. I'll say choose period. And that's, well, I could just say period in the title, and then I can just enter choose period. So it's a little, so it kind of explains, let's go back to it, and there it is. So there's that little message and explains what they need to do. So just to enhance your financials, to make it easier for people to use them. Again, we can either turn these values to white so that they're not seen, or hide the columns altogether. Now for the next one, this one's a lot of fun. You'll notice at the top I have this developer tab. What I'm going to do is I'm going to insert some buttons, scroll bars here, so that I can use buttons and scrolling to change these values. But first you need the developer tab. Now in order to get the developer tab to be viewed and used in Excel, it's very, very easy. Just come over here to File. All right. In File, you want to go to Options all the way down at the bottom. Okay, so now I've opened up my options screen. So it's File, Options, and now go to Customize Ribbon. And in the Customize Ribbon, you'll see it's right there. It's right in the middle. Okay, so about in the middle of the Customize the Ribbon side of the screen. Here's where you can add things and move them over to your ribbon. But all you need to do is tick this box. So once you tick the box, then the Developer tab is added, as I have it here. And that's how easy that is. Now I'm going to go ahead and first start with a spin button. and then a scroll bar. So I'm clicked into where I want to put my spin button. I'm going to go to the Developer tab, and there's a few things here, but come to this little toolbox here. I love it. It's Insert Controls. Get the drop down, and you can hover over and see what some of them are, but I'm going to start with the spin button. So I just clicked on it. Notice it turned into a little plus sign. It says, okay, where do you want to put it? I'm going to put it right here. And there it is. Now, if I click away and click on it, it doesn't do anything because I haven't hooked it up. Okay, but if I right-click on it, I come all the way down to Format Control, I can set it up. It's a little big. Well, okay, so what we're doing is we're looking at this year. So if I type in my current value, it's currently on 2019, but my minimum value is 2018. Remember my years? I wrote them out on the, or typed them in on the spreadsheet there, but now I just type them in here. It's very easy. What's my maximum value? 2020. That's the maximum year I'm using. If I want to change the increments to every 2 or every 4, I can. The only other thing I need to do is select this cell link, and the cell link, of course, is the year. And there it is. Select OK. There's my button. And now I can scroll. So notice my values are changing. Okay, so now the values are changing. Now I will say, notice if I keep clicking here, it's not going any further because that's the lowest, 2018. Okay, so it's looking at the data you put in it. Let's do one more. So I'm going to come in here to Data, and I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to come here to Developer. Remember the Developer tab, got to add that one. Just come over to the toolbox, select the down arrow. I'm going to use a scroll bar. I think this one's so much fun. And I'm going to go over a couple spells here. So there's my scroll bar. Now, you probably wouldn't do the two together. You know, it doesn't necessarily look that good, but this is just to demonstrate how to use it. Right click, Format Control, same principle. Current value, right now it's on 6. The minimum value is 1, period 1, right? It's currently on period 6. Maximum is 12 or 13 or 14, however many periods you have. Cell link, again, is the period. Select OK. And there's my scroll bar. So now you notice the periods are changing. And let me move it down. 2019, I have a lot of data. So I can just sit here and keep clicking and notice my 8, 9, 10. Notice my periods change. You can also scroll. Okay, so those are just 2 examples. Try out some of the other ones. They're just, the radio buttons are a lot of fun too. So anyway, so now now we have just a little bit more change and enhancement in how our reports look. And what I can do is I want to show you one more thing, and that's if we do a nice chart. I didn't finish things here, COGS and expenses. Okay, so if we do a nice chart here, I'm just going to highlight, and I'm going to insert, and I'm going to chart. I go to all charts because this one's kind of cool looking. All right, and then for all charts, what I'm going to do is, now this is from last week, but I'm going to make an enhancement to what I did last week. Now, last week, what I did was I wanted to make the chart title change according to a filter. So I'm going to use these filters with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, again, off to the side or another sheet, I'm going to type in the formula by which to have the chart title look at the filter that's being changed. And the way you do that is you just type in equals, always starts formulas, and then you start typing the text you want to see in the chart title. But before you type in text, you have to add quotation marks. So quotation marks, let's just call it a P&L. It's not really, but P&L. Okay, you see the ampersand, but that's part of my text. Space, F-O-R, and then a colon, because I want to give another space, because I want to say P&L for, okay, year. I could say for year, but I'll just say for. Now I'm going to close the quotation marks here because that's what I want it to say in my chart title. But now I want it to include the year. So what I have to do is add an ampersand because that connects 2 strings. Now I'm going to click on my year. There's my year. I have to add another ampersand because now I want it to look at the rest of the chart title, which is quotations by period. I'm putting some spaces in here too to make it look better. End quotation marks. Add your final ampersand because you're connecting one more string, and that's your period, and then press enter. And here's your formula. Of course, you're going to hide it, but now you can just take your chart title, go into the formula bar, press equals, go to your chart title, press enter, and there's your title. So now you have P&L for, you could say year here, but P&L for year 2019 by period 6. So now when I change my years, look, there's 2018, 2019, 2020, period 6, and then you can scroll over 2020, period 7, period 8, period 9. Let me go back here on the years so we can see some data. There we go. So now you can see how everything changes. So that's where last time we talked about changing just having one filter in your chart. This time you can do 2, and you can use these fun scroll bars. Okay, now the last thing is that I want to show you in this webcast is the fact that you can report on more than just your financials here. So I have added this tab at the bottom, sales data, okay? I'm going to click in it. There's nothing in there yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a report in Report Manager to the Financial Report Designer so that that report, which is going to be my sales information, is pushed into this report so that then I can have my financials and my sales data all in one report. Okay, now what I did is I added this tab, and now I just need to count how many tabs, because we're going to use this number in just a minute, so stay with me here. We're going to count how many sheets we have in this report. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, there's 3 sheets. I'm going to right-click and unhide, because remember, all Sage Intelligence reports have sheets hidden. We're going to count these. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. This is an extra one I have hidden. So that's 17. I'm just going to cancel because I don't want to unhide anything. There's 17 total sheets, so remember that one. Now what I'm going to do is I need to go back and save this report to Report Manager. Here's Report Manager. Let me open it up here and make this bigger. Anyway, okay, so here's my report. I can save the report. I'm not going to do it now because I'm running into time constraints here, but save the report template because you must save that additional sales data tab, and I've already saved that, okay? So what I need to do in order to add my sales report is I've double-clicked on my Financial Report Designer. I'm double-clicking on my union report here, and you can see all those hidden sheets that we looked at. All I need to do now is make this bigger. There we go. That's better. Okay, all I need to do now is select the Add Report, and look at that. I select the Add Report button, and these are all the reports I have in my Report Manager. But what I want to do is go to the report I want to add, and it's right here, my copy of Sales Master. So I've made a copy, okay? So you add the copy, I select OK, and there it is. So I have my sales report included. And remember, we counted all of the sheets. We did that because we just need to tell the system where to put the data. And I'm going to tell it to put it on sheet number 17, not number 1, because we've already got data pushed to sheet number 1. We don't want it overlapping. It's not going to work. I'm telling it to go to sheet number 17. Select Apply, and then run the report out. So I've added the sheet. I've added the sheet in Excel. I've saved that added sheet in Report Manager. I added a report, my sales report, to Financial Report Designer, and I've made sure that it's going to output that data into sheet number 17. Okay, so we're going to give this a chance to open. It's now pulling all my data, all my financials, as well as my my sales data, and pushing it into Microsoft Excel. So we'll give this just a minute. go. All right, let me make it a little bit bigger here so you can see it. I need to just minimize it and open again so then I can move things around. There we go. So moving that around, and I'm scrolling out so we can see it. Now, remember, I didn't save it the second time, but I did save that sales sheet. Now, you don't see it here at the bottom, but that's because it's hidden, in my case, automatically. This is just in my particular case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unhide. Remember all those hidden sheets, and there's my sales data sheet. So I'm going to select OK, and there's all my sales data. Let me scroll out. There is all the sales data that comes with that particular report. Now, for those of you on the line that use Sage Intelligence, you might say, well, usually the sales data is already in a pivot table. Well, that's right. With the reports we build them as pivot tables, or we have layouts such as these that we've already built. But in this case, well, what we're doing is we're just having all the data sent to a particular sheet, and now you can create the report that you would like to create. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a pivot table. We went through this last week on our second part, so you can go in and watch that video. But basically, I'm just going to go Insert and Pivot Table. This is my range. I've got everything I want. I want it on a new sheet. I'm going to select OK, and there's my pivot table field list already open, ready for me to use. I'm going to close my Sage Intelligence task pane here so that I have a little more area to work with. Scroll out here. So now I have a pivot table. Again, if you want to see the details of that, it's in a previous session. But what I want to do is I just want to select a few things. I'm going to go to my line sales amount. There we go. So I'm going to select this sales amount. I'm going to select my selling price. And let's say, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can create a chart and then change it so you can see trending values. So I have two values here, all right, and I want to see them across my periods. So I'm scrolling, there's my period. Okay, so now I only have 8 here, but I have my sales information, my selling information, and let me just clean this up a little bit so you can, it's not quite so busy, so you can see where you can make changes to this. Now I'm going to add a calculated field. We did this last week, so I'm just going to run through it quickly. So the calculated field I'm going to add is called a variance. So again, this could be financials as well, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my line sales, my line sales amount. So I come down, insert that field, minus my selling price, insert that field, select OK. Again, I'm going through it quickly. There's it's a lot slower on the last webcast. So now I have my variance. I'm going to remove some of the words there so it's a little easier to understand. And so what I want to do now is I want to create a chart out of this. So I'm going to go to Analyze. I'm going to create my chart. And there's my chart right there. I'll just go ahead and select OK. Skinny little bars. But that's because I have some zeros down here. Now I'm going to kind of clean this up, so I'm going to right-click and remove the field buttons just to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so what I want to do now is I have my sales amount, my selling price down here, and then a variance, but I want this variance to be shown as a trend. Okay, I want to see the trending. So how I'm going to do that is, first of all, click on one of the series and right-click and open up my Format Data Series window. Now that opens up yet another window, so I'm running out of real estate here. So I'm just going to slide that one over. Okay, and under the series options, I'm going to choose variance because that's what I want to work with. So now the variance is highlighted. Now I want to right-click and format my data series. Actually, it's already open. I can come over here now that variance is highlighted and use that as a secondary axis. What that does is it pushes it to the front, even though it's secondary. This is what I want to use as the secondary axis. So now if I right-click, okay, on that variance, come up to change series chart type, there's lots of things you can do on this in this window. We have other tips on that. But if I scroll down, actually, yeah, let's see if I can, yeah, I'm not able to get to the bottom. Sorry, folks, I have to change the monitor. It's just, there we go, I can scroll here. I have to change the monitor so it's a little better from a video standpoint, and it really limits my real estate. Okay, so what I've done is I've scrolled down. You're not going to have to scroll down, but at the bottom you'll see there's my sales amount as the clustered column, my selling price is a clustered column, and one more, my variance. What I want to do is I want to change that to a line, and I like the markers. So I'm going to change it to a line. There it is. And that's really all I want to do here. I'm just going to select OK. And that's how easy it is to see a variance. If you have, this could be financial information, but it just so happened that I've included my sales report within my financial report. So now I have my sales data, and I can see a nice trend. I can put this on another sheet. If I choose, I can start up a dashboard if I want. So maybe rename this to dashboard, and so I can nicely arrange everything and have my sales dashboard, my financial information, everything ready to go all in one report. I can hide my sales data, so right-click and hide that particular tab and just keep the tabs open that I want. Of course, always go back to Report Manager and save that report, save it as an Excel template. Okay, so now what I want to do is I'm going to minimize my Excel and go to my desktop because I want to open up my web browser. So here we're at sageintelligence.com. I just want to show you where you can go get more information on Microsoft Excel tips and tricks like the ones you saw. And many, many more, as well as on Sage Intelligence. So if you go to resources, all right, so it's sageintelligence.com. Hover over resources, come all the way down to tips and tricks, and I've clicked on that. You can go to one or the other, but I've just clicked on tips and tricks, so it gives me both. So you'll see that this one's a Sage Intelligence one. 8 tips to use when working with reports in Excel Report Designer, the Financial Report Designer. Here's how to turn a single company report into a multi-company one. Subtotal dates by month and year. I could go on. So there's so many different tips that are available here. Reach out, go to sageintelligence.com, go to resources and tips, and sign up. Just type in your name, your email address, subscribe. We're not going to do anything with your email. All we're going to do is send you the tips, and that's what you're subscribing to. Now, if you want more information on Sage Intelligence, you can go to our learning portal. So I'm now here hovering over my learning portal. I'm going to click on it, and that's where you can choose your Sage solution, and you can check it out. We have videos, webcasts, all kinds of information. I'm going to go back. All kinds of information on Sage Intelligence. But also note that if I click on that learning portal, I can go to Microsoft Excel training. That's at our Sage Intelligence Academy. So you can go to our Excel training and learn a lot more. We have 3 different versions. It's called Excel on Steroids. And we have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Here's one for 2013. And then there are Excel on Steroids, beginner, intermediate, and advanced training. So check it out. Lots of great information, free information, as well as in-depth training on Microsoft Excel. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation. Right. Okay. So now this is the Sage Intelligence webcast for actually part 3. We've just had that one. I wanted to take you to this screen that shows you those links and more. So there's sageintelligence.com. You can also go to youtube.com/Sage Intelligence, where you can access lots of short videos on how to use Sage Intelligence as well, and also our tips and tricks. Go to our sageintelligencecommunity.com to work with others within the community, and also sageintelligenceacademy.com. So if you want to brush up on your Excel skills, go to sageintelligenceacademy.com and check out our training there. Now, also, if you found this webcast useful, please like it and share it on your social media channels. We appreciate that because we love feedback. Thank you very much.